go ahead and get going here. And we're starting a couple minutes in with your ball, as we said here. You can see my screen, and we're looking at like high bronze, low silver. Go ahead.
The only other thing I would say is like, I've watched a bunch of your videos, both on
Sure.
ball and just some of your thought patterns and everything else. And so I just really appreciate or like the way you think about it. And so that's why I thought this could be super interesting.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm glad you've
Yeah,
enjoyed. I'm glad you've enjoyed what I've put out there. So let's see if we can level your ball up a little bit. Okay, so you're here, and you tell me, are balls little pew 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 shooty shooty guns down main any good? Any good?
No.
Right. Like, these aren't the worst weapon in the world, but, it's better than what Winston can do at range, for example. But if you're doing these, the only way for this to have any value would be for you to go shooty shooty from somewhere like over here, and this still wouldn't be good value, but it would at least sort of put a mental, oh, it's annoying, I have to respect that you're there, that you could walk in. If I stand still as Widowmaker, you might be able to drill me down with a clip and a half, that sort of thing. Here, you shooting down main like this, and you just, you're literally here where you went, hey, you're coming in, and you go, yeah, that's great, rolled on in. And there was just zero desire on my part. Like, there's almost nothing that could have been here that would have caused me to want to stop here. You get what I'm saying?
So would it have been better just to roll through?
Rolling through could have been better. So, like, you could have gone like this and said, hey, I'm coming out. I have my tether available. Cool. I could use this, and I could just tether my way on through. That's not my favorite thing in the world because I'm going this way, and this is the direction that all of these guys are spamming. And fortunately, you're not up against a team that has too many stuns. You really only have to worry about the hook and the sleep dart right now. But you could get hook or sleep dart if you go towards enemies that can storm arrow, hook, tether, shoot spam damage, be that Orisa, be that Hanzo arrows, be that hog right clicks, be that widow shots. If you go in this way, even if you don't get stunned, you're then gonna have to spend a bunch of time once you're through them gathering health packs before you can hit again, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I think better than what you're doing of unballing and going shooty here would be let me just grab a tether and just try to go through these guys. Or grab a tether and try to hit in this direction where I can pretty quickly get out. And now I've established an angle where maybe me going shooty isn't quite as bad. But I'd actually probably look at this and prefer still, hey, I knew I never wanted to go down main. So as I came out of spawn, I knew I was looking for a different lane. And now I can hit from here. And I can just go across like that real quick. And this Ana probably doesn't see me until I'm already moving, and that makes it a much harder sleep for her. You don't know exactly what they're going to be. We don't have this camera that I have right now that lets us see everything, but it was always going to be a case where even if they had their tank line back here, their eyes were probably more locked this direction than they are in this direction, right?
Sure. Everyone's looking that direction, right?
Exactly. So I want to be like, let me do a quick thing across. I'll hit a little bit of a disruption. Maybe that knocks people out from behind a shield. Maybe it just annoys them a little bit because people don't like getting booped around. You do a little damage. You get a little mind charge. You'll take some damage, sure, but there's no way in where you don't really take damage. I mean, I guess you could try to go like, hey, let me tether, get here, and sort of like swing myself up here and then go around. But I'm willing to go through, end up over here, maybe grab this mini, circle out here for a second just to wait, come back in, and now I can go through for a, just swing on through, maybe swing back and pile drive type thing. Like, obviously I'm 4 steps ahead of where you need to be right now, but some semblance of this plan coming out of this spawn was, I have no desire to go main, because I'm just going to take a lot of chip damage going in main, right?
For sure.
Okay, so from the get-go, I'd have liked that. You're taking a ranged fight with Orisa, and I hate it. Okay, this is a little better. You used your adaptive shield. You're putting some damage into them, and I get it. Like, you do this, and you back out because you don't want to get punished. You got a big adaptive shield, which is cool, but you're in this awkward place if you were Discord orbed as well, so you didn't want to necessarily go back in there. Here's the thing. Is anyone paying any attention to you?
Nope.
Cool. Let's roll right on back here. you know, maybe the Discord orb will fall back, but let's roll right on back here. And I would much rather eliminate Widow from here than try to eliminate her from here, or Hanzo from here, or whoever it's going to be. I'd like to shoot at Widow because she's just going to get a lot more uncomfortable. I can force more out of her. She's going to move less because when she's scoped, she slows down. She has that smaller health pool, and, you know, your team is probably going to panic about her a little bit more than a Hanzo. So, like, I'm looking at this and going, I'd like this Discord orb to fall off. If you choose not to let it fall off because you don't want to waste your shield, that's fine with me, but I'm going to roll over here, and I'm going to shoot at her from here, and if people like the Hanzo, like the Zen, turn to shoot at me, no problem. Or the Anna turns and I'm worried about the sleep, I just hop over here. And even if I get caught by a sleep as I'm leaving, I'm probably going to be okay out here. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And I think I was just spamming into that general direction versus picking a target.
Right. Changing target. I mean, you're aiming a little. I don't hate it. You switched your mind on who you were at, and now you go for this. And this isn't bad. This isn't bad right here. Like, you went like this, and you saw, wait a second, if you guys are going to pay no attention to me, sure, I'll go in and do this. And the truth is, as you get, you know, up to higher levels, higher silver, gold, whatever, people aren't just going to let you shoot at them from this side and then roll at them. Like, you'll get chipped too hard, that sort of thing. But this is good. If they're going to ignore you, we'll go in. Trying on the Hanzo, and now I'm probably a little done, but okay. Sure. Beautiful. So you see that you went in and you didn't go in with the best route, but nothing you did before going in mattered, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you standing out there and shooting was just wasted time, and wasted time is just time for your teammates to sort of get picked and then delay when you can actually make a move. Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Move it out.
Sure. Annoying.
In transit.
You have to do something cute from here. So you just broke that, and that tells her where you are. So you could just go that way again, don't get me wrong, but I'd look to do something cute. With Ball, it's really helpful. Remember how we talked about, like, hey, I'm worried about the Anna sleep, I'm worried about the hog hook, that sort of thing. I also don't want to take, like, a storm arrow on the way in. It can be important to go, hey, I'd rather hit you. I want to hit you from a different direction than my team. And if I've really got my way, if I really want to show off some wrecking ball play, I'm going to hit you from a direction that you don't know I'm coming from. Like, even if you know I'm coming, it's better that I hit you from a direction that's different than my team. But if I really want to, you know, get maximum value and sort of get a lot done, get a lot of minefields, it works if I come from directions you don't know. And Widow now knows you're coming this way, right? Because you broke her mind.
Got it.
So
that's like a tip off that.
Right.
At least someone's aware that she is where she is.
And I'm totally fine that you broke her mind. It was better that you shot her mind than that you got hit by her mind and she got to track you for a few seconds. But how could you go some way different? You're Wrecking Ball. You're the most mobile hero in the game, basically. Where could you go? Like, you just broke this. You know the opponents are generally coming back from their spawn. Where could you go that's still useful, and how could you get there?
I mean, I could swing over the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, you could throw a tether up there and swing yourself up here pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it might not be the best thing in the world.
There's the path underneath.
You could. If you go under, you're really, like, she's going to be looking in this direction. Like, she left that mine and she's doing kind of what I expected, which is she's scoping and looking in this direction. If you now come under, that's kind of the same thing, right?
Got it. I was thinking about going all the way across under.
Oh, yeah, that would be totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Your ability to change lanes and change where you are, fantastic. But no big. Instead, you go here, and I don't want to challenge a Widow in gunner mode from a direction that she's already looking. You eat Widowmaker for breakfast, but it's because she can't get that 300 damage headshot on you, can she?
If I'm in ball form and coming.
Right. So you'd like to either use gunner mode on her when she's not looking on you, when you can just quickly one-clip her, You can do that when you sneak up on her sort of thing, or when she's scoped in hunting someone else. But if you're approaching her from a direction that she's looking at, you've really got to be coming at her and starting with the tether damage, yeah?
Got it. Yep.
And once you've hit her with the fireball, she's going to get moved. Then maybe you can go into gunner form and fight her. But you've already done basically a third of her health by doing that. And she got booped around, and her camera's probably messed up. And she's going to have a sensitivity that's going to make it hard for her to do 180s and such when she's scoped in. So she'll have to unscope, and then rescoping, she'd have to charge again. So don't really want to round the corner into a Widowmaker in hamster form like this. Sure. Right idea, but finish her off. No! I'm so sad. Okay, so you do this. Cool. You don't have the shots, no big deal. She's running away from you. If she stepped towards you, she could ruin your whole day, but not really, because you'd melee her. But like, this is the distance where if she doesn't move, you won't get to fireball speed in time. If you just tether right now onto this right here and press forward, I know, because I know human behavior, that unless she's specifically trained herself and understands exactly what you want, she's going to keep running away like she is, and you're going to hit her with your fireball. You still have 600 HP. You'll have speed going. You could roll through her and probably get away. Maybe Hog gets the hook on you, but you know what? I'm willing to take that chance sort of thing. We're like, Hog, if you can hit me when I'm moving that fast, I'm kind of going to gift it to you, and it's still not guaranteed that I die sort of thing. Whereas this, you sort of do this. Well, let's watch what you do. You go, oh shoot, I better leave. Now I'll tether, and now I'll try and go, and you just sort of struggle here. And I totally get why you struggled. Like, you're just learning Wrecking Ball. It's fine. But you didn't need... This is way more distance than you need to create a fireball. Like, if we look at this... She's not in fireball range right now. I'm going to let go of your character. She's now in fireball range. You can get to fireball speed if you just roll through her from here. Do you see that difference?
Yep.
And
so
I
sorry, like, and I had tether, so I could have just tethered from here. I mean, I knew she was like half HP or like half of 1 HP.
Right. She's got 17 HP exactly.
Right. Yeah, but so I think I wanted. Obviously, I went back and then tethered and then swung through, but that gave her more time to potentially get away.
It gave her more time to get away. It gave these guys more time to shoot at you. Like, remember, you had 500 something health a second ago. Now, by the time you're to where she was, you're at 237 health. That's a very different situation. You also, just drove wrong, but hey, no big. You hit that, you gotta leave, you don't have a tether, it's painful. Yeah, we can hope that hop will throw their aim off. And you're gonna change locations. Good. Okay, I like it. I had no desire to go this way. So you took out their Zen. This was great. Anna's gone, Zen's gone, we'll take it. I have zero desire to go this way. I know you're maybe just peeking here for a moment to get like some form of healing, but I've got zero desire to even show my face over here because I am not going to go find something else to do. I can still contribute to this fight. Like, I've got 200 HP. It's not great. I definitely can't contribute to this fight from the front because I'll get blown up before I do any damage. But if I can find some other path, even that just sends me through a mini, I can probably contribute to this fight if I hit opponents from the side or the back. Would you agree?
Hello?
Snow, did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay, so...
I said for sure.
Oh, okay, got it. I didn't hear that. Perfect. So yeah, turns out what is up there, if you just rolled on through up here and looked for something to do, oh hey, you can tether, you can roll through this Widow into a pile drive, and then just leave whether you finish her or not, and then maybe circle back through a health pack. Whatever the case may be, you've contributed more to this fight by sending her down. Instead, you're over here, Mercy's actively healing you, and don't get me wrong, I like healing too, but... her healing you here is at an opportunity cost where, hey, should she be propping up some other tank, or more likely, should she be damage boosting someone else? I don't mind her doing this. This isn't the worst thing in the world, but like, there's plenty you still could have done. Okay.
Bad guy.
Oh, interesting. Sure. You tried. You tried. I can't knock it. I can't knock it. It was never quite right, and this just takes some practice, but like you see, how would you adjust your tether in hindsight now that you've seen what that did?
Did it need to be closer to where she was?
Not much.
I swing in front of her, so maybe need to be closer to the edge. I mean, sorry, closer to. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think like an inch inside, right, would have given me a little bit more room to actually.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You do have to get to a point where you can eyeball these and adjust after just 1 or 2 tethers. You tethered here, and you probably could have tethered like here and got her, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. No big deal. I don't think that would have cut your ability to do that. Unfortunately, you hit this wall. Here's the thing, though. I probably let go of this tether at this point. Like, this happens. You have a stupid amount of health now. Oh, unfortunate. But she's not looking at me, and she's scoped in. What do you do from here? You don't... I mean, you still have your tether, but it's going to be hard to get going to hit her again. Like, it's going to be awkward. Just let go and start shooting at her, right? She's not looking at you.
Ledge slammer.
What's that?
Or ledge slam, like go off and,
I think
back
if
and
you
slam.
threatened ledge slam, it's too likely that she jumps off and you're locked into your ledge slam animation. And don't get me wrong, she might die just dropping into your team like that. But
Yep.
I'd probably look at this and look to use my ledge slam as the finish, or have my ledge slam available to go, oh, you're dropping, are you? Me too. That sort of thing.
Okay.
But that's okay. Instead, you're...
Well, I was like, can I get back and swing again?
I know. Your weapons do work too, especially against Widowmakers who are scoped in like that and can't move very much. But I do get the desire. Going back up, I like it. Okay. Okay, I need to find a way in that isn't down main. Okay, going up top. Maybe. Still pretty mainy. Oh boy. You're just going to take too much damage as people's aim gets better going in, and then you're not going to be able to stay in the fight very well. But okay. This is happening.
The third time through, right? I mean, they saw me twice.
Yeah.
I tried, yeah.
So you went over here, and this is better, but then I can see what you're trying to do. Do you have any desire to go up here? I suspect what you wanted to do is you just sort of wanted to fireball in and maybe knock some people in front of this shield, or, maybe hit these guys. Is that a correct guess?
I mean, I think I wanted to try to slam the Zen.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is an expensive slam. Let's even say that Zen had stayed here, where he was.
Yeah.
You were never going to get him with just the tether. If he hadn't moved, he'd have been about where these rocks were, so your tether was never going to get him. So you were going to spend your tether and your slam cooldown just to get the slam. There's times where you'll end up doing that, but that's pretty expensive, right? You're using tether plus slam to not get fireball damage plus slam, but to just get a slam on one person. I mean, you can do that, don't get me wrong, but I'd have probably preferred to go, hey, let me tether on the side of this, and let me just fireball on through the Zen, knocking him forward and hitting the Orisa, and then maybe I'll circle back over through here and start shooting from the side, or go down here and then, with my next tether, go across, whatever the case may be. Maybe go through Anna, because eventually it is my job to get on the Widow. I don't really want to spend tether plus slam to just get a pile drive on one person without also getting damage, because I know you've seen my Wrecking Ball mini guide, or at least I believe you have. And what's your second hit on this Zen?
I have, and I don't. If I've used my tether and slam, then I mean all I've got left is my guns.
Right. And you kind of, if you're going to win a duel with someone, you kind of expect to need 2 ability hits on them. And the only way you could get a second ability hit would be fight him long enough that your tether comes back up and then sort of roll through him to finish him off. And that might be on the table, but that means fighting him for a good 4 or 5 seconds. And are you going to be able to fight him for 4 or 5 seconds in front of an Ana and Widow?
And not get slept and not get hit by the Widow?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So again, I'd have preferred to just be like, hey, I will be disruptive. I will be annoying. With Ball, you can be really good at going, hey, I'm annoying. I force some of your cooldowns. I'll leave. And maybe later I'll come back and eliminate you. Or I force some of your cooldowns. And now maybe I'll leave and go find some other part of the fight where, ooh, in this other part of the fight, I'm not forcing cooldowns. I'm finishing someone off because they already used their cooldowns fighting someone else. That sort of thing. Like, I don't need to go necessarily, let me duel you, Zen, here. Like, yes, I can duel people. I'd be happy to duel this Widowmaker, for example. I'd be happy to go through here and go pew 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 and make her leave and then go, oh, you tethered somewhere, and then let me just roll through, that sort of thing. I'd be happy to do that, but I don't have to force duels. My preference as Wrecking Ball actually is to, when I'm not tying up a Widowmaker, a big off-angle threat like that, because Zen's just down main. He's scary because he's Zen, but he's just down main right now. My preference is to just sort of mess up lots of people, do lots of damage, even if it's not 200 damage to one hero. Does that sort of make sense?
It makes sense, and it's not something I do. And I kind of like with the roll throughs.
Uh-huh.
Like I think I look more for the slams and the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Than I do for the roll throughs, and I think maybe that's something that I can
Yeah.
on.
I think that would help. I think looking for some roll throughs here would help because remember, you took first point, and yeah, ultimately when the enemies actually went down, they actually went down when you went in there with a big slam, and I'm talking about back here on first. But really what opened things up, what allowed your team to rotate in a little bit, was you hit this roll through, you got into a position that disrupted them a little, annoyed them a little. They still didn't pay any attention to you, but usually they'd pay
Right.
some, and then your team could rotate in, and you were able to go hit that meaningful slam because you first did that roll
Set it
through
up a
there.
little bit.
Exactly. And there was just nothing to, I mean, yes, you could have come out here, used this tree. Like, if you did want to go hit the Zen and you went, I'm going to try to assassinate the Zen, you needed to roll out here, tether under the tree so that you could roll through and hit the Zen and go up and then pile drive back down. Like, you needed your 2 ability hits because you were never going to be able to stand out here and just fight him terribly effectively. I say as you do just that.
Well, he never turned around, right?
Well, he never turned around, but the bigger deal is like Ana and Widow were just like, we don't care about you. And I'm like, well, okay then. Hey, so let's rewind here. Listen for Ana's sleep dart. Okay. If you heard and saw the sleep dart right there, you can now fight her, and I'm potentially fine with this. But that's a key, and that's something I sort of want to poke at a little bit of. Did you see that she messed up the sleep dart there? And you may not remember.
And actually, I went into practice mode the other day just to try to listen to what it sounds like, and it's so subtle.
It is.
And the vast array of sounds and sights that are going on. I'm like, how do people track that?
To me, it's pretty loud, but that's because, when I played Overwatch, I played a lot of tank characters, and I really cared about that sleep dart a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. You can train yourself to listen to it. You definitely can. But it's important. If she doesn't have sleep dart, you have 720 HP, and she basically can't win this fight, and you can calm yourself down and just shoot her and not rush it or anything and fight her, and you have a fair amount of time before that sleep dart comes back, and yes, she's gonna nade herself to get more life, but you're in pretty good shape. On the other hand, if she has sleep dart, you need to either instantly finish her off or basically get out of here immediately. Does that make sense?
It does. And
Okay.
so that just comes down to being able to track whether or not she has sleep dart.
Right. And the same thing would happen with Cassidy's flashbang, for example, right?
Yep.
Where if you have a bunch of health and Cassidy doesn't have flashbang, I'm happy to fight it. If Cassidy has flashbang and you have a bunch of health, I have very little interest in fighting him. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
It makes
Okay.
conceptual sense. A little harder to execute.
All good, all good. And you can see you panicked a little too much here. She doesn't have sleep dart, so we want to lead. You're following her too much. She's moved right almost constantly. She throws the nade, and you can see you basically got no hits here. And this isn't me like being like, ha 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 ha, your aim is so terrible, that sort of thing. But I want you to realize I want you to effectively be willing to calm down and go, I have 720 health. He can't beat me without sleep dart, right? Like, I would have to miss a ton of shots for her to beat me, and the only way you're gonna miss enough shots for her to beat you is if you panic and just, like, hold down left click and don't hit very many shots, don't have good trigger discipline, and then get stuck in a reload, which causes her to live long enough to either beat you with damage or to get her sleep dart back. You sort of follow what I'm saying there?
And I do. And I also wonder, what you were saying, like I kind of followed her, which made her so close that it made it almost even harder to track if I just maybe sat still and followed her from a stationary position.
Right.
It would have been easier to track her.
Here's the thing. Anna can't get headshots on you anyways, but again, you have enough health on her that I don't really need her to miss any shots. It's basically irrelevant to you with Hammond if she misses any of her shots on you, besides her sleep dart, which is already off the table, when you have this much health. If you had, like, 200 health and she had this much health and you were trying to force the fight, yeah, you'd be interested in her missing some shots. I don't know how you're going to make that happen without your tether, but you'd be interested in it happening. But, like, you doing evasive movement right now, as you're correctly gathering, is basically worthless. So if I sit still for a moment and just 100% focus on thinking about my aim, thinking about leading a little bit, not like, actually shooting ahead of where she is, but sort of putting my crosshair on the right side of her since she's moving right and she'll end up moving into it, and sort of keep leading where I think she's going, that sort of thing, and quickly adjusting when she doubles back, that sort of thing, and letting go of the trigger if she gets too far away, or immediately flicking to adjust if she gets too far away. Either way, whatever works. If you hit even, a moderate fraction of these shots, you're going to beat her. Now, hey, no big deal. Totally get it. You're probably in this panic, and you're probably used to a panic of, if I don't kill her quick enough, I'm going to get slept. But that's not what your Ana duels are about. Your Ana duels are, I'm not fighting you for real when you have sleep dart. I might hit you with a roll through from behind. I might shoot at you from moderate range with cover to try to bait you to try to sleep me. And if you do hit the sleep, whatever, I'm fine. I might do that sort of thing, but I'm not actually trying to eliminate an Ana unless she doesn't have sleep dart. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And if she doesn't have sleep dart, cool. I can just casually sort of be like, if other people aren't also shooting at me, I can just be like, let me just focus on my aim. I don't need to think about my movement. I can just go, hey, let's think about the aim. Let's not panic so much that we hold down the trigger button, because we recognize if we run out of our clip, that potentially gives her away into this battle. So I'm slowing this down. No big deal. And you can see you're not hitting enough shots, and you're down to, you've spent a third of your ammo and you're really not hitting shots here. And this is a problem, and it didn't have to be the case. I don't care that your aim's a little bad here. I think I think your mouse control is a little better than this if you focus fully on your mouse control. And that may not be the case, but I suspect, I haven't seen a ton of your tape, but I suspect that that's the case. I suspect you have, maybe it's a level of height that's only like 15% better aim, 10% better aim, but I bet you've got something when you're playing a tank like this and you have enough health that you've won the fight, that you can just go, I don't need to move, I can just shoot at you, sort of thing. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
All that though, like if there is an Ana in their back line, and I see them, likely they have their sleep. Should I avoid them? Because sometimes I do try to slam them and shoot at them, and then inevitably I get slept. And
yeah. So
yeah.
Here's sort of the rule when it comes to opponents with stuns with Wrecking Ball. There's times that you'll break this rule. There's times that you'll follow this rule and still get destroyed, and you just sort of shrug. But I'm going to give you a rule of thumb. You can go at a backline or a team that has stuns for you, as long as when you go at them, they're not looking at you. If Roadhog or Ana is already staring at you and you go, I'm going to roll at you, you're going to get stunned. If you roll at them and they don't realize you're there until you hit them, they might stun you on the way out. But you know what? Try to hit it. You're moving way faster than most heroes, and you just booped them, making their aim harder. They're being thrown around. If you hit the hook and bring me back, and then after that I get bashed, and then after that I get slept and purpled, fine. I'll take the L and I'll die. But you know what? I'm gonna make you hit that shot. You follow what I'm saying? Where it's like, it's going to be they have to earn that sort of thing. It's like in basketball where it's like, I'm not defending you at half court. You can, if you want to hit the 3-pointer from half court, have it, whatever. I don't care. It's only when you get closer than that I care. It's that same sort of thing. You see where I'm going with this?
Got it. Yep.
Cool. Your pile drives are going to be something that you might break that rule for. You might go, hey, other people are coming in with me. I'm going to hit this pile drive. I might eat a bunch of CC because your pile drive hits hard. But yes, if you go for the pile drive, that's going to give them a little bit more of a moment to orient themselves and probably punish you for your pile drive because your momentum stops when you pile drive. But that's a decision that you make. If there's too many stuns and they're giving you a hard time, just do more roll throughs and less pile drives until you've seen them waste some of their stuns, which are going to be on a longer cooldown than your tether, so your next roll through could be before they have those stuns back. And as you can see here, this is trigger discipline. You spent your entire clip. She has as much health as she did when you started. Yes, she naded herself, but there was enough ammo in your clip, even with your level of aim, I bet, if you just calm yourself down and intentionally don't shoot when you're not doing a terribly good job of aiming at her, there was probably enough in here to eliminate her. And if we look at her, she's still 9 seconds from her sleep guard. Like, there was no rush on this. You see where I'm going?
Yep.
Okay. I know I've labored on that point enough, so we'll continue. Cool. And you got it done.
Eventually.
Eventually. And it would have been faster if you just calmed down and been like, hey, it's okay if I get this a second later. Instead, by trying to be like, no, gotta get it now, you probably delayed yourself a good 2 to 3 seconds. But all good. I have zero desire to be here. So, you did this. I'm glad that the Widow's gone. I guess you can go over here and hit that. I want to get out of here as quick as I can. So this is main. You could push cart. That's a thing that you could do, but you really can't do anything else while you're pushing cart, right? Like, you're just not useful. You're not going to be winning the fight while you're pushing cart, yeah?
Right. For sure.
So I can live with this if you want to sit on cart, but I'd probably be a lot happier to just go over here and work my way over here. And now Zen's in this situation where Zen's like, I know you're over there, Wrecking Ball, but I don't like this. That sort of thing. That's what I'd love to see happen. Instead, okay, fine.
Enemy contact. Combat mode engaged.
We don't challenge widows while they're looking at us.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
You know he doesn't have hook, but you're choosing not to fight. That's fine. You can't actually beat him. You want to disrupt them. Okay, so this is happening.
System restored.
And I don't hate this. Boom. Something very important happened right now. So you knew Hook was on cooldown, but maybe we get getting close to it being back. But now Roadhog went into breather. How are you going to engage on this team from a different direction than your team? I'm thinking 3 seconds ahead, 4 seconds ahead, 8 seconds ahead, that sort of thing. How are you going to take this next team fight from a different direction than your team?
Roll through to the right. Get behind them.
Right. And I'm worried about getting just absolutely destroyed, chipped down as that's happening, but this is a window that you can do it. You might get discorded, you might get shot at by a mercy boosted Hanzo, those would all suck, but you can use a tether to get across here pretty quick. They're not really going to be able to follow you, and they can't hook you to, actually take you down. So we'd like to go right now.
Oh, because he's doing take a breather.
Yeah, and he can't.
He's in that animation, he can't hook.
Right.
Let's keep
Instead, you're just going to make me sad.
Area denied.
Did I mention that I was sad? Okay. So you went in like this. I get what you're trying to do. You decide that you don't see anything good here. I'd take this anyways, because even though this minefield isn't going to immediately get either of these two, it's going to separate them. So your minefield isn't immediately going to get any eliminations, but your minefield is effectively a really long-lasting Mei wall in the sense that these guys can't really walk up to help their team, and their tanks can't really retreat. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that is kind of what was going through in my head. Like, oh, they're all back over here. The two, I'm not sure if I knew that the two tanks were over there, but I'm like, I think about mines as either like on point on payload or kind of to separate folks.
Okay. It works well as a splitting tool. It also just works well as a drop it where the team fight is happening. And now your roll throughs, you're fighting. Like the other team basically struggles to brawl in the middle of them. They struggle to run away from you, that sort of thing. Any boops you hit might trigger a mine that eliminate them. It does a lot of good things. This split is perfectly legitimate, but you get a better spread if you drop them
Denied.
when you were, say, here. They'll spread out further as opposed to here. Like, okay, you get a little bit of a spread. It does something, but I'd have liked them generally you want your minefield to have a little bit more spread. You'd like to drop it from some height. It's not the end of the world that you don't. It's not like, oh my goodness, I won't drop it because I'm on the ground, but I'd greatly prefer the spread there. I'm done fighting this hero. So this happens. Cool. Oh, hey, Orisa. Don't mind if I do. Oh, hey, Orisa fortified. I'm done. I don't need to fight her through this. Remember how I talked about how you'll pick a fight, get an interesting cooldown out, and then use your tether to go somewhere else? And probably while going somewhere else, you can hit someone with that tether damage. Remember how I talked about that in sort of the last fight on second, or the second to last fight on second? That's one of the way. That's sort of what I'm looking for you to do with your Wrecking Ball, where you go, hey, I forced Orisa's Fortify. I don't want to try to eliminate her through Fortify because that's really, really hard. She walks into mines for you, great. But I can't boop her around. She doesn't take headshot damage anymore. Fortified Armored Orisa is taking like something silly like 30% damage from your shots right now. It's just not happening if she gets any form of healing. So... but Fortify's on a pretty long cooldown, and what if I now hit my tether in here and roll through and it hit the Zen that was back here? Or hit my tether and roll through their Hanzo for some damage, go back here, get a health pack, come back and start shooting from over here. I've forced Fortify, I've put myself in a better position. That was pretty productive. Whereas this... well, that didn't work as well, did it? Okay.
So yeah, no. I mean, that's a good point, though. I mean, when Orisa's golded, fortified, just like don't bother, right?
And
I mean, I know it's reduces. She takes reduced damage, but it doesn't even. To your point, like if she gets a little bit of healing, then you're just kind of wasting your time.
right, and it's not like she can't be eliminated through it, but it's the sort of thing where I sort of want you to go for this thing of I might hit somewhere in a fight. If doing so forces some good cooldowns, and then I go somewhere else in the fight because I'm allowed to do that better than almost any other hero as Wrecking Ball, and that new place I show up in a fight might be on a Hanzo that thought he was safe, so committed his Storm Arrow into the fight, and now I can just fight this Hanzo, and I'm perfectly happy to do so. So, like, I softened up the front line, and I went and killed Hanzo in the back. Or I softened up, maybe I forced out Anna's Sleep Dart, or I did a roll through on Anna. She tries to sleep me. She misses as she's leaving. And I show up at the fight elsewhere to fight their Cassidy or to finish off the Zarya that doesn't have her personal bubble or to do whatever the case may be. You're going to find that you get a lot of maybe you kill steal, maybe you get assist, whatever it may be, but it's like I opened up the opportunity for someone else to take someone down here, and I finished off someone else that, you know, maybe someone else on your team was working on over here, because you have so much ability to just change where you are, and you also cause a lot of attention to come to you when you do something like drop that minefield, fight that Orisa, but if you then leave, you shed a bunch of that attention. You see what I'm saying? Cool.
Enemy C.
Speaking of which, well, there's no one here. I hope we leave. I hope we leave.
I think I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm taking care of you.
And now I want an angle again. You found one. Cool. Okay, you just mechanically messed up there, but what you were going for was correct. You wanted a pile drive on a group of them.
No, they're naded, right? And so
Yeah,
that was a,
what was that?
oh, sorry. I saw they were naded, right? I saw they were purpled.
Yep.
And so that's what was like the trigger to go for the slam.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, that's not quite what I was trying to do. Oh well, let's like that.
Here, I have a
Perfect. There we go.
mic, so I just moved it a little closer.
Perfect, perfect. Sorry, when you're in the channel, I can turn you up, but when it's a call like this, I haven't, I don't off the top of my head know how to turn you up. Okay, so we're going back here. Perfect. Here you are. That's right. Would be worth finishing. What's that?
Sorry, I just lost the
Oh,
share.
Oh, my apologies. Let's go ahead and share that again. And you should be able to see this. We'll rewind just a couple seconds to get you back here. You went over here. I don't know why you did this. So you already used your pile drive, and you decide, hey, I'm going to do this. You're doing this for what? Why do you want to go vertical right now?
Probably not aware that my pile drive is not back online.
Yep. And it's a long one. It's, 10-second cooldown. It's pretty meaningful. So I had zero desire to go vertical. I probably instead wanted to just tether lower, roll myself right through here, and then maybe I start shooting from here, being annoying, putting some pressure on them, making them think about me, maybe hit the Mercy with the roll through on the way through, that sort of thing. Instead, you go high, and okay, like, sure, I don't know how practiced you are at, sky shooting like this. It's a thing, you can do it, but I would have been pretty happy to just roll through and shoot from here with a nice stable angle, with the ability to take cover. Like, you're making this harder on yourself.
Enemy reviving.
You don't realize you're reloading? Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe it.
All good. You don't realize that you're still reloading? Yeah. This unfortunately just was a case of, A, you should have just tucked back here and reloaded. B, if you were going to go after this Mercy here, your next move had to be to go out here. Like, it just had to. You had to find yourself some cover to reload with, or you had to stay in ball form for a bit, and hey, it works. Cool. You could.
The payload
Okay.
is approaching its destination.
I don't want to fight this at all. So this is happening. You do
Is
this.
approaching its
You decide to shoot at Mercy. Sure. Now Hanzo's shooting at me. Can I possibly beat this Mercy pocketed Hanzo?
No.
Is your aim good enough that you're going to take out their Mercy and then leave without dying before this Hanzo takes you out?
Probably not.
So let's leave. We already did what we needed to, right? We created some disruption. We got him paying attention to us. Let's leave. We've already done our job effectively. So, hey, you created an opening for someone to eliminate Mercy. You disrupted opponents and caused them to turn and look at you. You're going to leave. Even if you were over here right now, he'd probably pop Storm Arrow. You'd take an arrow or two, then you'd leave. Maybe you go get the health back, come back. Maybe you circle back up here and pile drive again. Whatever. But, like, this is... Think about how much health you had. Here, we'll go like this. You have 400 health and 60 health.
The payload is approaching its
You have 570 health. Okay.
1 second.
Get healed.
I don't know. The picture just went out. I don't know if it's mine.
It should
Your
be.
net or
It should be
yours?
sharing. I can
Yeah,
stop and restream. Let me know. Can you see or no?
I can't.
Okay, let me stop
I
and
don't know.
restream.
It could be my side.
Okay, are you able to see again?
I can.
Perfect. So you have 450. You're going to go up to 570 health.
The payload is approaching
Cool.
its destination.
Cool. Even if you'd taken 100, 200 damage here, this would be well spent health. You're soaking some attention. You're, pulling some aggro off your team. You're putting this Mercy in a situation where if someone else on your team connects a body shot, she gets eliminated. This Mercy's Guardian Angel was forced. Hey, I'm good with this. But now, you're at 574 health. Now you went down to 80 health. Did you spend that 500 health well? Because you spent that entire 500 health fighting the Hanzo, and okay, what did we get out of fighting the Hanzo with 500 health? Okay, we forced Mercy to pay attention to him a little bit, but not really, and then we got 100 of his health. Probably not worth to spend 500 of our health for 100 of his health, unless it's the, 100 of his health that eliminates him, right?
Yep.
Cool. I don't mind if you spend, 400 health to finish him off, that sort of thing. That's actually not going to bother me, but, that was pretty unlikely right now. Yeah. And you get health back, but you can't go as hard here. Sure. You're panicking way too much. Is he paying any attention to you?
No.
Settle down and aim your shots, right?
Settle down, get headshots.
Exactly. Settle down, maybe spend 12 ammo, let go for a moment, re-aim, do it again, whatever the case may be. You sort of get it. Cool. Works for me. Okay. Let's get through this. We have to move a bit faster, but that's fine.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. I mean, I think we end up holding
Ready
this.
for battle.
Oh no, they
Five,
kept first point,
four,
but then stall out in
three.
a second.
Okay.
1. Attackers incoming.
Your team is getting aggressive.
Defend objective
I know
A.
they're way. I was like, why are they all up there?
Okay. So this wasn't great if this was what you were trying to do. Where this happens, where did you want to tether if your move was I'm going to roll through these people and then get out with speed, and if you're trying to get out this direction with speed was the only way to do it, your move looks more like you're trying to roll through and then hide over here and make them remember that you're over here and be annoyed. That looks to me like what you're trying to do based on this tether. If you're trying to do what you actually end up doing, which is go this way, where did your tether need to be?
Closer to the edge.
Yeah, your tether needed to be right here, and you wanted it to start to pull you around. You wanted to be fireballing your way through here, and then you wanted to let go of your tether around here-ish and have fireball speed still on your way out. And it was a little bit risky, but it could be done. You don't hold your tether long enough, your tether was too early, and you don't have fireball speed to leave. I have 0 desire to be here. 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's fine. Let's move.
Sorry, I've lost your stream again. I can see it in the little picture, but it's...
Okay, let's do that again for you. Did that help?
Yep.
No desire to fight Bastions. None. Only time we fight Bastions is when they're not looking at us. We put a little bit of pressure on their crit box, and then we leave. We don't expect to take them down at all. We just keep them honest a little bit. They're a bad matchup for us. Okay, you're being annoying.
Heroes never die.
Sure. I don't really want to come this way again. I probably would have this time said, hey, the spawn timers aren't such that I'll get punished for this, so I'll come out here and I'll do a quick roll through like this and then maybe finish over here. Something along those lines, because I just can't hit anything good from here unless these guys are moving more forward, and I don't think these guys are moving forward based on what I saw last time and based on the fact that they lost someone. Do teams generally push through this choke when they're down someone?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Go up top. Go up top. Okay.
Healing enough.
Oh, okay.
Tactical
Take
visor
this all the way back to point.
I heard the Bastion ulting, and so I was like, I don't want to go through there.
Okay. He won't have the easiest time hitting you with those ults, but I get it. I get it. Okay, good. You don't pile drive there. That would have been you getting eliminated with that Bastion.
System restored.
You have to figure out, can you contribute more? And you're looking, nope. You go for that. Okay, okay. And this fight was over. I don't care that much. There wasn't really a great way you were going to find your way back into this fight. So be it. This fight, if we wanted to turn it, would have been again back here. We hit a more annoying disruption. It might have been when they were pushing with that tank ult. Hey, let me do a quick roll through like this. It could have been when you did leave. You know, when you did leave from here through here, you could have gone, let me circle up here, and then let me let that Bastion push past, but then let me pile drive their backline for a moment, disrupt them. Let me just make their advance more annoying to sort of wear them down and make it so that they don't get to take as much from us while they're pushing with their ult power there of the tank. But no big.
And a little earlier you said, go up. Were you saying to like go up to that bridge?
Yes, that's what I was talking about. I was wanting you to go up over here so that you could do this, because I knew you didn't have your tether cooldown, but you had your pile drive cooldown. You can hit the pile drive, and then you'll have your tether, and you can leave with it or get a second hit with it, that sort of thing. You decide. Okay. Okay. Sure. Start looking for health packs. If you're not finding enemies to fight, you need to go get health packs. You can't just waste the time.
Grab that one there on the left.
What's that? Yeah, there's one there on the left, exactly. He's bait. He's bait. Hanzo is not bait, but you need to leave.
System restored.
Sure would be nice to hit these guys. Where are they? They're bottom left. Can you figure it out? There's the tank mode again. Excellent. And that's what you're looking to have happen as Wrecking Ball. You just come back and pick on this Hanzo partway in the fight, and what do you know, he's weak and this was super easy sort of thing. Or what do you know, he doesn't have cooldowns and he's super easy sort of thing. Like, you're gonna find, like, you might be like, I didn't earn this elimination. And you're right, you didn't. But he's still dead, so you know what? I'll take it.
Right.
You need to just train weapons on her. Unfortunate.
You know, a question about that. Like, when she's rezzing, can I if I boop her away, does that prevent her
Yes,
res?
but it's harder to do now that they've decreased your boop distance. They did a patch that makes it so that you don't boop her as far. So if she's rezzing towards the end of her res range and you boop her, yeah, she'll get far away and her res will cancel. But like if she's rezzing on this side of Hanzo and you boop her, you probably aren't going to send her far enough away from the corpse to cancel her res. So like, yes, it can be done, but you have to be conscious and you have to boop her fast enough that, you know, the res doesn't get off anyway, that sort of thing. You actually handled this correctly. Yeah. You handled it correctly, you just didn't quite have the mechanics, which is fine. And then you sat there and tried to fight the Bastion. And you can't do that. You got to roll this way. Like, it's, you just, you know, had to go, hey, Slam, I know the Bastion is shooting at me. I'm going to roll this way where he can't shoot at me. And I'll still fight this Zen, but now the Bastion isn't shooting at me too. Okay. Tether here instead. You can tether here and go over like this and you'll get in faster.
Okay.
Okay.
60 seconds.
I don't want you to go point. Okay, fine.
Area denied.
No. And the reason that you don't do this, I am going to have to go coach a scrim in just a few minutes, but the reason that you don't do this is who's going to fight these guys? So you need to anchor point and you need to get eliminations on these guys. If you just anchor point, you're going to lose. and you've committed your minefield. And when I commit my minefield, I want us to get eliminations during it. Either the minefield gets eliminations or we get eliminations while they're avoiding the minefield. I don't really care, but neither of those things are going to happen right now. I know this feels like it's helping you stall, and it is helping you stall, but is stalling worth, like, wait, it's helping me stall and I'm spending my ultimate for that? Does that really make sense?
Right. Well, yeah. In those situations, like, do I use the ult? Do I not? And then this one, I was
You'd
like,
hold this ult unless either you were going to swap or someone else could hold point while you went and got eliminations with your minefield. Make sense? Like, I don't mind dropping this minefield on point because this is where Zarya and Hanzo are, but I don't have any ability to actually leave and hit people with tethers and such in the minefield or fight them in the minefield because right now you're just focused on surviving and you're not going to be able to use your minefield effectively because of that.
My turn.
Healing stream engaged.
Good.
Double kill.
Okay. Ends up working out. Maybe you were aware of this when you dropped your minefield, but it ends up working out because, hey, your team is just now getting back. So now even if you're stuck anchoring, your team sort of gets to take advantage of the minefield being here. So perhaps I spoke too soon.
I didn't know. I was just
Double
it was a
kill.
desperation.
All good. All
Hey,
good.
and I know we're at time. You know what? Can you give me a few takeaways? To
Absolutely.
Think about and work on?
Absolutely. So I was definitely we're going to do that. And what I would say is like important in this, there's a couple things that are going to be really important. What's something that we hit on multiple times that I sort of didn't let go of? And I'm going to want you to put that in your words rather than mine. Like, what was important? Totally fine if you can't do it, but if you can
Well,
put it in your words,
mean,
it sticks a little better.
I mean, I think the trigger discipline, right, in the
Sure.
duels,
Sure.
was something. Obviously, more roll throughs,
Yeah.
and then I think a theme was to get cooldowns out and move on, as opposed to like trying to stay and fight that Orisa and things like that.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, hey, don't get me wrong, you can hit a roll through into a pile drive and then just eliminate someone. That's perfectly fine. But a lot of the times you're not going for such a big, powerful move, or you're going up against someone that has a flashbang, has a sleep dart, has whatever, and you're going, hey, I would like to hit you, and then I'd like to move to somewhere else in the fight. And maybe I'll come back and finish you off with my next tether, or maybe I'll just use this tether to leave and go fight someone else. And I think you will be shocked by the number of eliminations that you just happen to get because you just go do something else in the middle of the fight instead of staying on the target. Like, Overwatch is not about, let's have an honor duel. I have all of my resources and you have all of your resources and let's fight. Forget that. Like, oh, I forced your fortify? Cool, I'm going to go leave because I don't want to fight you while you're fortified. Or I'm going to make you use your sleep on me as I'm leaving and then you miss, but I don't have my tether cooldown and I can't get back in quick, so I'll instead go fight this Hanzo over here, whatever the case may be there. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does a lot. Because I mean, I
Okay.
do think. Well, and I guess maybe a mental part that I had is like stay in, get the elimination, secure that, and then move on.
And
I think
there will be times that you do that, but that's mostly going to be a case of you jumped on someone that was already weak, or you jumped on someone that was totally isolated and you're trying to force a duel because you think that's what you need to do. That is harder than playing the other way, though.
got it.
Like, it's harder to be enough better than the person that you're going to 1v1 them. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not enough better than them, but it's like, I don't want this fair fight. Like, it's so much easier to go, let me force these things, and now let me go sneak this Hanzo limb over here exactly like you did. So, like, I'd like you to try to be more flexible in, don't get me wrong, if you hit a roll through then a pile drive on someone, you can try to finish them off real quick, but if it's not there, if it's not pretty easy, feel free to just leave with that tether cooldown when it comes back up, and then do it again. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Cool.
Cool.
And then, so like, that's the first thing I want you to focus on. And then the next thing that I really want you to focus on here is going to be, I do want you to have, we can call it trigger discipline, but it's a bigger category of calm down when you know they can't beat you. You're a big, bulky tank. Calm yourself down. You can let go of the trigger, then start shooting again. Totally fine, perfectly fine. You can also just go, hey, I can literally stand still and shoot at you if no one else is in this fight. If 3 people are shooting at you, you can't do that, but probably don't try to force the elimination. Probably just leave if 3 people are shooting at you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So I want the more willingness to go, I forced a cooldown, let me leave and find somewhere else in the fight. I want calm down and fight them, don't move if you don't want to. Really think about your trigger discipline, think about leading, whatever. When you're fighting someone who no longer has the tools to beat you, unless you just rush things, which will be pretty darn often. And then lastly, you've sort of got this of open your mind up to not always going vertical, to hitting more roll throughs. Because vertical is fine, but vertical without pile drive doesn't do much. Vertical also sort of means that you use vertical plus pile drive, and if you only hit the pile drive, that's a lot that you spent, right?
Yep.
Cool.
I've just spent a lot of cooldowns then at that point.
Exactly.
Right.
So